and our weekly video segment to take you into the back shelves of your local video store, back where it says horror videos, and where kids are devouring some awful films that we call the video nasties.
Are you freebasing? Inquiring minds want to know.
I have to break free from this culture of mechanical reproductions and the thick incrustations dying on the surface.
Fuck the prime time, bitch!
On with the new flesh.
The pain, I can assure you, will be exquisite. As for our deaths, come with me and be immortal.
We have such sights to show you.
Gotta return some videotapes.
Hello, horror hounds, and welcome to the It Slays podcast. I'm your humble host, Rowan.
And I'm your favorite mutant, Mike.
Oh my god, I was going to say that. Hey, it's your favorite mutant woman, Jill.
And we are back, and we are Coltonless this evening. He's, I don't know, doing surgical procedures on...
cadavers.
Cadavers or something. No, his parents are in town. And, he's doing what normal people do. Take your parents to go see weapons. So, yeah. We figured we'd give him the day off. But we are back. Mike is back in the building. I'm sensing something going on here, and I hope there isn't so we can start it. So listeners can keep track where Mike wasn't on last episode, but Colton was. And then Mike's showing up this episode. Colton's not showing up. Maybe there's like a beef, a war going on. The inner workings of the It Slays podcast.
Much to think about.
Maybe Mike's going to show up to Colton's place and just set a bag of poop on fire on his doorstep.
It is classic. That is definitely something that I did at least once as a kid. I'm not saying who or where, but...
Yeah, you got to make sure that it's like past the... What's that called? When you... it's like past the time you can prosecute for it.
Oh, the like statute of limitations.
Yeah, statute of limitations.
What's the statute of limitations on flaming bag of dog poop?
I feel like that's the only good thing about... like ChatGPT and AI, you could probably find those things out pretty quickly.
Yeah, but are they going to be accurate? No. So, I don't know,
True.
Man.
Yeah,
there is
true.
this thing called Google,
Yeah, yeah, just Google it. But yeah, well, we know what we're going to talk about first. What have we been consuming? What have we been watching? What have we been listening to? What have we been reading? All that wonderful stuff. Mike, you weren't with us last week, so why don't you bless us with what you've been consuming?
Okay. I've actually been trying to watch more movies because I had been watching just kind of passively having trash TV on in the background while I do other things. For the last couple years, I'm just trying to do that less.
I thought you were going to say for my entire life.
Well, okay, listen. The last few years and some decades. I won't make everybody listen to me go into again what I listened to before the Gothica episode, because as we all know, I got cut from that because my computer sucks and decided not to actually record any of my vocals. Oh, and I had some good ones too.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I was there was one it was that movie Hollywood 90028. I talked about that. It was my first time seeing it, and I was so excited to talk about that episode because I genuinely wanted everybody that listens to check it out or, kind of at least Google it or look it up on Letterboxd. And so that got cut out. So that sucks. Okay, so I've been watching a lot. I'm just going to kind of quickly run down. I've been doing a lot of rewatching of classic things. So I've rewatched a bunch of 5-star movies. And hearts, let's just say. So after the last episode I was on, our local theater actually somehow got the 30th anniversary Clueless screening, which nice. I was shocked by. Yeah, so it played.
Did Willow do
literally...
that?
What?
Did Willow do that?
Yes. Willow went, and in a move that shocks and surprises nobody, she actually wore the yellow plaid outfit that Alicia Silverstone wears in that movie, iconically.
Iconic.
So we were at the mall, and there's Willow, like, fully in share mode, and everybody was, like, you know, complimenting her and being like, oh my god, like, that's so cool. And then she'd be like, yeah, we're going to the Clueless screening at the theater. And they're like, what? So, like, they did not advertise that this thing was happening at all.
That's so cute. I love that for her.
Yeah, it was great. And then she went the next day with somebody else and wore the, like, red dress that Alicia Silverstone wears in the movie. Nice. So, yeah, it was, like,
very nice.
Kind of light cosplay screenings. Anyway, that was wonderful. I've seen that movie 100 times in my life. And sitting in the theater with, I don't know, probably maybe, like, 30 other people or so, and all of the jokes that, like, I've seen 100 times, I was like, it's going to be nice, but it's just not going to hit the same. And I was just, like, cracking up, and it was such an enjoyable experience.
Good.
And there was, like, some youngsters there who were, like, not born when it came out, and I think some of them enjoyed it, and some of them thought it was cringe, but that's fine. That's fine. You know, you can be young and not have taste. It happens. And I unfortunately checked out I think it was a Lifetime movie. That it's called I Was Honey Boo Boo. I don't know if either of you guys saw that was out.
Been popping up sporadically.
Yeah, I went over to my friend's house and we were like hanging out with his husband and having a few drinks, and I was like, put on Tubi obviously and we'll watch a movie, and that was there and I was like, okay, we have to watch it. And it's this like weird, so it's narrated by Alana, who is, you know, Honey Boo Boo, and it's like her story, but it's all told in flashback and it's dramatized, but then it'll cut to like actual Honey Boo Boo, like as an adult, like, you know, narrating it, and it's very bad. Like the first 20 minutes of the movie, not even, maybe like 10, literally goes through her whole, like, it just skips over her whole like rise to fame on a TV show. I'm like, cool. She like gets the TV show and then it's over 10 minutes later and we don't see anything, and I'm like, oh, this is the only part that everybody knows. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say about that. It was a bad movie and an hour and a half of my life that I'll never get back. I can't even say, because I used to like guilty pleasure watch that show when it was on, and even I didn't enjoy it. So
I don't think I've ever seen a Lifetime movie ever. It's kind of funny because whenever I'm in like Value Village or any like kind of like used store like that, I always see Lifetime movies on like DVD. I don't think they put them out on anything else other than DVD. But
no, and that was because it probably only cost like $2 to make that DVD. So
I just always giggle to myself. I always wonder, like, there's got to be someone out there that's like a physical media collector, but they only collect like Lifetime movies, or like I have the whole collection.
All I'm saying is if I was finding Lifetime movies on DVD or VHS or anything, I would be buying them. So I'm just throwing that out there.
I'll buy them and send them to you.
Yeah, you just like do a care package and it's all just like shitty TV movies. So another thing that I rewatched, another classic like canon of my life, was Argento's Inferno, which is of course sort of, you know, like a loose sequel to Suspiria. But I found online, it's like a Grindhouse like film scan, so it's really like kind of beat up, and you know, it's like apparently legitimately like from an old theater in like the 80s, you know, in like New York or something, and it just looked so fucking good. I mean, I know I'm like a 4K fanatic now, but like there's something about going in the opposite direction with a like really grainy like film print, and the film print always looks phenomenal. Like the colors were like to die for. And Inferno is just an amazing movie. I haven't watched it in years, and I forgot how fucking good it was. It's honestly a masterpiece. Like, I know we kind of like, oh, you need to.
I've also never seen it.
Oh my god, guys! Like, if you like Suspiria, I mean, it's not the same level of like cranked to 12 lighting and crazy music and stuff, but like it is very stylish, and it does have a similar vibe, but it takes place in the city instead of out in the forest.
I don't know why I thought you were going to end that sentence as it's not the same level as Crank. And I was like, whoa, Jason
Statham.
Jason Statham reference from Mike.
Oh my God.
Crank's a little bit of a banger though, so.
I know you are a like Statham-holic or whatever the fuck they call themselves. I don't know. Anyway, I did, oh my God, I actually saw a new movie in theaters.
This is a monumental.
I know. I had to because it was I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Ah, yes.
And it was a movie that was released in theaters in 2025.
It sounds like you align with me and Jill on our Now Slaying episode.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like just so like stupid. It's stupid. It's like literally. It's not even like that. It's a bad movie. It's that it's just like genuinely moronic. You know.
I can't remember who I was listening to someone talk about it. I can't think of who it was, and I thought it kind of, they like summed it up the best, talking about like, why was this even made? Because like,
yeah,
basically the argument was the original isn't even that good of a movie. It's a better like nostalgia memory than it is a movie. Mm-hmm. Which we talked about, I think, in the Now Slaying also.
Yeah.
It's like, when we reviewed the first one, we're like, this isn't that great. And so unfortunately, at least like with Scream, you're dealing with like kind of like 5-star horror material.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people's absolute favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. It was very much a like, why are we doing this? Especially since there was that TV show like 4 or 5 years ago.
I say every time, I thought the TV show was really good.
Yeah, I didn't have the service that it was on at the time, so I downloaded a few episodes, and I just never got around to watching them. But I do have it's on one of the things that I subscribe to.
You would love the music in it. The music's really good in it.
I heard there's really good music and lots of nudity, so I was like, yeah, I need this in my life. I need it. But listen, 2 of the things that I wanted to happen in the I Know What You Did Last Summer sequel when they dropped the trailer did happen, but they were both in such stupid ways that like I was like, I wish you wouldn't have done this at all. And it was bringing back a couple actors who I will not say because it's spoilers, but anyway, yeah. So I also watched, so Criterion has on the channel now a black and white cut of a movie that I loved in the 90s when I saw it on TV, and it's the film Basquiat.
Justice League. What?
Yes.
Sorry.
Justice League. Basquiat. It's the like biography of the famous artist in the 80s.
Oh, that's...
I don't know if you've ever seen it. David Bowie is in it as Andy Warhol.
I've never seen it, but it's just really random because me and Colton have talked about it a bunch before that we're big fans of the Big Picture podcast with Sean Fennessy, and Sean Fennessy was literally talking about it this week on his Letterboxd.
Wait, that movie?
Yeah.
No way. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, it's so fucking good, and I haven't seen it probably since the 90s. And
is it on Tubi?
It might be. I watched it on Criterion Channel though.
Oh, and that's probably, I know he's been doing a bunch of work with the Criterion Channel this month, so that's probably why he was watching it.
Oh, I would say, yeah. It's like a new version that the colors really pop in the original, but apparently this was like the director actually did this like cut where it's monochrome. It was really interesting. I love it. I love that artist. I love the actors in it. It's like a who's who of like 90s indie darlings from cinema. So yeah, if you like art or that movie, you should definitely check out the black and white cut on Criterion. I think that's the only place you can watch it. What else did I watch? Oh my god, I rewatched an old classic. I thought it was appropriate since we are in the middle of a really hot, awful summer right now, and it is the neo-noir Body Heat from 1981, starring Kathleen Turner.
I was going to show Backdraft.
Oh, okay.
Draft. Oh
I think this is going to be my new thing where just you build up the movie and then I shout a random movie that it definitely isn't.
Just to like cut me down. Yeah, no, that's actually a good idea. But you know, it's one of the like most famous like noir revival movies from, I think it kind of like kicked it off really. It's from 1981. And it's sort of a riff on like Double Indemnity and that sort of storyline of, you know, the femme fatale and, you know, the man that's seduced by her and, you know, agrees to like murder her husband because she's unhappy and blah blah blah. And it's wonderful. It's such a great movie. If you like thrillers or noir or fucking sexy actors, because like
William
they
Hurt.
are both so goddamn hot in this. William Hurt, I mean, we love this. We've done Altered States this year. Like, William Hurt is a phenomenal actor. He is hot as fuck. Like, there's no reason to not watch this movie. That's all I'm saying. I think it's on Tubi, and Criterion, and probably 8 other things. I'm going to try to go through these quickly. I watched a great old kind of Hammer movie called Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde.
Is that the new one that just came out? No,
it's from the 70s.
Okay, I because they put a new. Maybe it hasn't come out yet. I don't know. I always saw it in my Rue Morgue issues. It's supposed to be like the first thing Hammer's put out in a long time.
And yeah. I know what you're talking about.
With Eddie Lizard, right?
Eddie Lizard. Yeah. No, this was one of their like old 70s ones.
All right. I love me some Hammer.
Oh, it's excellent. It's so good. It's actually on Tubi. A lot of their stuff is on Tubi. And it has Martine Beswick in it, who is so fucking hot. It's like she will like melt the icebergs. But it's kind of, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but he turns into a woman.
Sick. And
it also sort of like brings in a bit of like he's also Jack the Ripper. So it's a really great movie. It's really fun. It's a little campy. It's from 1971, but it's beautifully shot. It's got great actors. It's everything you want. I also got a 4K from.
I just have to interrupt you. I was still looking at Body Heat, directed by Lawrence Kasdan.
Yeah.
I just saw like stuff that he's written. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah. Oh, he's like iconic.
He wrote like Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, like. Yeah, that's insane.
He's actually like a huge deal. Like legitimately a huge deal. Like they like teach us stuff in like film school.
Yeah, that's insane. Sorry for interrupting. That just blew my mind.
No, that's good. It's the pedigree, right? It's important.
Yeah.
I got a 4K that I was really excited about because it's something that I only ever saw once, and it's the French vampire movie from 1979 called Fascination, and that is Jean Rollin, who Shudder just dropped. He's like the king of 70s surreal, hazy, beautiful, dreamlike vampire movies that have like lots of tits and stuff in them and are very like art house.
Jill has entered
his
the
stuff
chat.
Is excellent. Oh yeah, and this is like like lesbian vampires and like lots of nudity. So this one is phenomenal. Shudder just dropped a bunch of his movies onto their service, and I feel like it's probably the first time he's ever been on streaming, and this is one of them that's on there. It's one of his famous ones, and it's this really great story of this guy who like double crosses his like gang and like steals money from them, and he hides out in this castle that's like surrounded by water and only accessible by a bridge, and there's these 2 weird women in there, and it's kind of like he's taking them hostage, but he doesn't realize that they're actually taking him hostage.
Fuck yeah.
And they turn out to be part of this like kind of vampire cult, and at the same time he's trying to figure out what's going on, but also his like gang members are like trying to track him down, and they find the castle, and it's a beautiful movie, just incredible visuals. The 4K looks insane. But it's on Shudder, so everybody should watch at least one of his movies. They're great. They're a mood. I watched a lot of movies from the 70s. I'm only just realizing that now. When I was a kid, I saw this one called The Sentinel on TV, and it was about a model who moves into this like apartment building, and it's really sketchy, and the people that live in the apartments are really fucking weird. And there's a like priest with dementia living in the like attic. It's crazy. So I rewatched that for the first time in a long time. And it wasn't the best movie ever, but it was actually like pretty decent. I don't know if it's on streaming. I watched it somewhere online.
I feel like it was on Tubi for a while.
It probably is. It was based on a novel.
I was looking. I guess I don't. I thought I had the Scream Factory Blu-ray of it.
Oh, there was a Scream Factory. Yeah.
It's out of print now, but I thought I had it. Maybe it's somewhere here, just not in the spot. But
if you have it and you haven't watched it, you should check it out. It's actually pretty good. I gave it 3.5 stars, so I thought it was like not the best thing I've ever seen, but it was like really solid. The end is pretty good, and the actor is phenomenal. I also bought a box set. Well, I call it a box set. It's literally just a set on like 3 discs of these Japanese 70s girl gang movies called Stray Cat Rock. And so I watched the first one, and it's called Stray Cat Rock Delinquent Girl Boss. And it's just about like this girl gang and like their rivals, and it's like a war. And it's really like kind of campy and like 60s mod with like a really banger soundtrack. Bro, you would love it for sure. I watched this Hitchcockian Meryl Streep movie called Still of the Night that I wanted to see for my whole life. Roy Scheider's in it. Love him.
Nice.
Jaws Daddy. Everybody hates it and says it's like a really bad Hitchcock ripoff, which it is, but it's actually like a decent movie. Meryl is wonderful in it. Like, it's win-win. And oh my God, okay, so I watched a movie for the first time that like changed my life. And I can't believe I've never seen it before. And it was on the Criterion Channel, and it's leaving at the end of the month. And it's called Tea and Sympathy. And Vincent Minnelli directed it. He is Liza Minnelli's father and was married to Judy Garland. He directed in like the like 30s and 40s and 50s, like some of the like famous like movie musicals, which is, you know, how he came to marry Judy Garland. This is this excellent movie, and it's under the Hays Code, so they could not come out and say anything. But it's essentially a movie where it's this kid in school who is getting like essentially tortured because he's like not the right type of man for like the whole movie. And it's like, oh, he likes to sew and stuff. Really, it's like he's gay. But they can't say that because it's the Hays Code, because you could not put that in a movie because it was deviance. So
God.
It's like the whole movie about the like headmaster's wife, like being essentially his hag and like being his like only friend because all the boys, and because he's like a jock, all the jocks like hate him and like torture him. But it's because he's like, you know, oh, you're not like a real man or whatever. But really they're saying like, you're
like
an F-slur, right?
Yeah.
Oh my God, and it was so beautiful. It's like shit, like Technicolor, like the colors are beautiful. It's just full of anguish, so I loved it. And I'll blow through the rest really quickly. We had a movie night and watched two of my favorite 70s slow burn horror movies, one of which we did on this podcast. One was Messiah of Evil, which is a 5-star masterpiece. Vampire story, a haunted town, a beautiful woman, a bunch of swingers. It's
Nice.
a banger. And the other one was a 4K that just came out that I ordered, and it is Let's Scare Jessica to Death.
Oh, yeah.
Which we loved, right? Another kind of vampire movie. I watched a lot of weird, like, vampire or vampire-adjacent stuff
From the 70s.
in the last few weeks. From the 70s. I'm actually just realizing this, like, looking through this list. You know, we love Let's Scare Jessica to Death. I think it's one of the greatest movies of the 70s, one of the greatest horror movies ever. It's so underrated.
It's almost like a small town paranoia, like like The Wicker Man, but with vampires.
Exactly. You know what? And I was thinking it was a lot like The Wicker Man.
Yeah. I remember being surprised by that Mike pick.
Yeah, I'm glad. Everybody that watches it loves it. And I also I showed my friend a movie that is not available anywhere except in like bootleg VHS rips. And it's a Shannon Tweed movie from the 80s called The Surrogate. And it was a Canadian production. And like Daniel Lanois, who is a famous musician who produced songs for like U2 and all sorts of, like, he produced literally like U2's most famous, like, groundbreaking album. I had to show it to my friend when we were having a wine night. And it's a like vaguely Hitchcock, vaguely Argento, like cheapy Canadian psychosexual thriller. And I really think it would be a cult hit if somebody would put out a Blu-ray of it. So Arrow, Vinegar Syndrome, anyone, get on that. And yesterday I finally finished a movie that I started watching a few days ago. And it's the biography of the famous, very famous heartthrob silent film actor Rudolph Valentino. And that was directed by, again, favorite of the pod, Ken Russell.
Oh, nice.
And it's excellent. And he's played by Rudolf Nureyev, who is a famous ballet dancer. And it's really hot and it's fun and it's on Tubi, so everyone should watch it. Anyway, that's it. Sorry, that was like an hour long, but I haven't been here for a few weeks, so we're just playing catch up. I've just been watching a lot of really trash movies and really arty movies.
It's a good combination.
Bro, what about you? What have you been doing? I feel like you've been maybe doing something different, like reading. I wasn't even sure
my movies
that
aren't
you were
even
capable.
that long. Yeah, it's been. So I guess first I'll say I got to check out for the 45th anniversary, we sponsored the TerraVision showing of the original Friday the 13th. So got to check that out with friend of the pod and Rowan Fraser's mother. Rhonda Fraser came. Dad also came.
Love Rhonda.
Yeah, Rhonda was pretty pumped. She was talking about how she remembers like going to see it when it came out in theaters. So she was like, I don't think I've watched it since then, which is a lie because I was like, well, you always tell me that's the first movie you ever showed me. So she's like, oh yeah, well, she's like, probably other than that. But yeah, it was a great time. It was like sold out. I think it's the busiest I've seen of any movie we sponsored. It was packed, and it was a good time. We were rated. We reviewed the original Friday the 13th, and I've kind of said it's not my favorite Friday the 13th, but I mean, obviously it's iconic, and
yeah.
People might look at him weird if he's like, first up is Friday the 13th Part 2.
Yeah. We're just getting straight into Jason.
Yeah. So, but no, it was a real good time. People won lots of cool movies that we gave away in 4Ks and all that kind of stuff. A lot of rewatches, honestly. So stuff I can just kind of blow through that everyone knows are good. Rewatch Full Metal Jacket and A Clockwork Orange. Kind of had a Kubrick night at work with a young fellow that hadn't seen any of, nothing Kubrick. So watch those. Those are always fantastic. Rewatch Spiderhead, if anyone remembers that one. Came out during COVID. It was directed by Joseph Kosinski, obviously of Top Gun Maverick fame and F1. But it came out during the pandemic. It starred Miles Teller and Chris Hemsworth. It's like a psychological horror. It's basically like a big ass Black Mirror episode, and this psychological horror sci-fi film that I thought was pretty good when it came out, and we rewatched it with a guy that had never seen it, and yeah, it's a fun time. In terms of 5-star masterpieces that I watched, like everyone else, checked out Happy Gilmore 2. Yeah, it's like the opposite. I felt bad. I gave it 1.5 stars. I probably should have just gave it a 0.5 star. But I feel like I'm in kind of the same route as everybody that saw this film. That it was garbage. It wasn't good. I don't mind the original Happy Gilmore. I think I've been pretty vocal before. I am not an Adam Sandler guy. I usually don't like a lot of stuff he's in. But, Happy Gilmore, I think has its moments. It's funny. This second one is, so trash. It's the funniest parts about it was them just playing old clips from the original. And, it was basically just, how many really famous people can we get in our movie that do these cameos that don't make any sense or aren't funny? But it's just hey, Adam Sandler knows this person. Hey, Adam Sandler knows this person. And it was just everyone I watched it with, everyone was that was absolutely terrible, right? And I'm yeah.
Wait, it was Netflix, right?
Yes, it was a Netflix production. So, yeah, unfortunately not a Happy Gilmore 2 person. And I guess to keep on that Happy Madison train, I watched this really obscure one called Strange Wilderness. That was it's a non-Adam Sandler Happy Madison production that stars Steve Zahn. Obviously of I guess now it would be, what's it called? The HBO show everyone likes that he was in season 1 of, about the resorts. Well, White Lotus.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
But it's got him. It's got super young Jonah Hill in it. Jeff Garland from Curb is in it. It's all the kind of early Happy Madison people are in it. And it's not great. I rated it 2 stars. It had me chuckle a bit. I usually like these productions that, it's like a stoner comedy from the early 2000s that it's just, it's rough, but I was it could have been worse. I watched it 3 a.m. So it's it was funny at 3 a.m. for a couple chuckles. Then I also got to check out The Grizzly Truth. I think it's supposed to be pronounced The Grizzly, but they spell it with lie purposefully. So this is a documentary from 2022 that came out on Crave or like HBO or whatever. And it is this woman from Vancouver. It is a documentary about the Vancouver Grizzlies, the NBA team, and what happened to them, why they went to Memphis, how, you know, there's this like huge fan base of people that like grew up with this short-lived NBA team, and, you know, they feel betrayed and all this kind of stuff. And it was fine. Like, it was well done and stuff, but it was one that I kind of wish was like 40 minutes and kind of more of a short than it was length, because I felt like everything she had to say about it, she said pretty early in it, and then she's just kind of like stretching it out at, you know, interviews that she did, just like stretching these interviews out for questions that didn't really matter. But it was cool. You know, I remember being young and I had like a Vancouver Grizzlies like wall clock, and
that's so you.
Yeah, like, you know, so it was kind of cool as a basketball guy seeing what's going on there. Then I checked out for the first time Miss Congeniality as a watch, and I liked it. I thought it was pretty funny.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock obviously was fantastic in it. Benjamin Bratt, fantastic in it. I got a lot of chuckles out of it. I thought it was cute. Even Shatner was like tolerable in it.
Candice Bergen was good.
Yeah, like just a kind of easy watch. I mean, by the time you guys listen to this, we'll already have an episode out. I'm sure me, Jill, and Colton, we all saw Weapons, the talk of the town, so you can hear what we thought about that. And I saw, it's kind of shame Colton's on here, because I know he saw this also, but I gave Sorry Baby a chance, which is the new A24 film, directorial debut from Eva Victor. She also stars in it. She wrote it. And I went in this kind of like, I saw Colton had watched it and he had liked it, enjoyed it, but I couldn't go with his A24 bias. So I was like, let me see what's going on here. And it's one of those movies that, like, when it started, I was kind of like, you know, I feel like this has really been done a couple times. Like, it's quirky, it's kind of weird, like almost like normcore hipsterish. And then as it went on, it's just like, it's really well done. I couldn't believe this was like a directorial debut and like her starring and writing in it. I don't want to say anything that'll like spoil it or anything, but she wrote it about something very traumatic that happened to her. And yeah, wrote this kind of half-truth biography story of how she dealt and deals with the trauma and all this kind of stuff. And I said in my Letterboxd review, the real star of the show, there's a gorgeous baby kitten in it. And he's such a good boy. Just fantastic cat performance in it. And then, the only other things I've really been doing, me and Exilia, I feel like kind of a lot of people right now. So we jumped on this is going to be the most relatable thing to listeners ever. So I get a phone call from the great Rhonda Fraser that says, hey, I got Paramount Plus. So now you have Paramount Plus on your Amazon subscription. And I was like, sweet. So me and Exilia have been indulging in the new season of South Park. Obviously, that's been like the talk of the town because they're just making fun of Donald Trump and everybody. So we started watching that. It's pretty funny. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. And it was kind of funny because it just played after an episode of that and we didn't change it. We decided to support my family, and I've watched the first 2 episodes of From, which is shot here in Nova Scotia, and my youngest brother, he like works on it. So, and he's been in it a couple times. So we started watching that, and so far we've kind of liked it. It's very Stephen King-ish. It's kind of people, the whole concept is just people are living in this town, but people come in this town and they can't escape the town no matter how much they try. There's like some sort of monsterish vampires or something that show up at night. Like it's very like Salem's Lot, Stephen King style.
Yeah. Interesting. I never heard of this.
Yeah, it's I think it's like USA something, the channel that like actually does it, but Paramount has it for the streaming rights. It's got, I know a favorite of me and Mike, it stars Harold Perrineau.
Oh, yeah.
from obviously Romeo and Juliet fame for me, but also 28 Weeks Later, which is also a banger. But yeah, he's in it. It's fantastic. And yeah, well, probably the last two things I'll say is to Nicholas's joy, I have jumped back on the X-Files train. I'm pounding through some X-Files just as much as most people want to pound through David Duchovny. And yeah, also me and Exilia are doing like a book club. So we're reading the same book. I don't know if that really constitutes a book club. We haven't had a conversation about the book or anything. We're just reading it at the same time. But yeah, Jill will be happy. I'm reading Delilah S. Dawson's Bloom, finally.
About time.
And I'm really, really enjoying it so far.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing. What about you, Jill?
All right, so what have I been up to? I have 2 books to talk about. I think I showed you guys this book that I had before.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna van Veen. And it's a gothic horror set in 1800s Netherlands. And it follows the main character, Lucy, who is traveling to see her sister, Sarah, who's very unwell, and you learn about her illness through these letters you're reading, and you see like kind of her descent into madness. And we find out that Sarah, the sister, lives on an estate where they found a bog body, so like a body that was preserved by the bog. And she became really obsessed with it and attended the autopsy and stuff. And then weird things started happening to her. So I'm not going to say anything else because it'll be spoilers, but it's kind of like a possession type horror novel. Kind of has like vampire elements. And it's very much in the same vein as Dracula and Frankenstein in the way that it's written. So yeah, if you're into that sort of thing, check it out. I know she has another book that I've had on my list as well. Big fan of her writing style. And it also has kind of commentary on like women's mental health, especially like at this time period where like hysteria was a thing and people are afraid to go to say anything or they'll end up in an asylum. So there's that element to it as well, which is very interesting. I'm kind of half reading and half listening to an audiobook of this book called Mary by Nat Cassidy. And it's another horror novel that the author said was inspired by his childhood experience with the movie Carrie and being really scared of it. But then his mom sitting down and explaining to him that Carrie is not the monster. She's been made to be the monster by society and that sort of thing. So this book is kind of similar to that, but just the way that you see your main character kind of go crazy, but at the same time, it's because society has been so cruel to her.
I've had that on my list for a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
I really like it so far. I think I'm like halfway through it right now. It's got like a lot of ghost kind of stuff happening.
I love the cover where there's like the hand.
What cover?
Coming out of the water or something, isn't it?
Oh, in the bathtub?
Yeah.
And that's one of the elements of the story too, is like the bathroom is kind of haunted. And so when I was reading it as well, I also watched The Toxic Avenger for the first time.
Oh my god,
the other
hilarious.
Day. And I saw a lot of the same kind of like society created a monster, but it's not really a monster sort of thing with The Toxic Avenger. The new movie is coming out.
It looks so bad. I'm really...
What? Are you for real?
Yeah, I'm really not. And you're talking to like The Toxic Avenger is like an all-time movie for me. I've owned every iteration of a Toxic Avenger box set since I was a kid.
Damn.
I just really worry about that because it's like it was done like years ago and no one would distribute it. And like I remember they tried to put it out, I feel like 2 years ago, and like basically whoever was distributing it was like, this is so bad, we're not putting it out. And then I think they like recut it and did a bunch of stuff.
Damn.
I don't know. I'm just old man yelling at clouds. Leave my stuff alone.
I mean, you could be valid. Who knows until we see it.
Yeah.
Just from the trailer itself, I thought it looked pretty fun. Like, it seems as over the top and ridiculous in like a different way than the original. But I guess we'll see. But I really loved the Toxic Avenger. We know Frankenhooker is like one of my other favorite movies of all time. Another trauma movie. And I was looking at reviews on Letterboxd, and people, it's kind of like if people like it, they really like the Toxic Avenger. And if they don't, they're like, oh, this movie is so bad, it's good sort of ordeal. But I didn't quite get that it was bad at all. I don't know. I just thought
it's definitely better. I shouldn't say better because I'm a huge trauma guy. But I mean, like, a lot of trauma stuff has that, like, has that chupa quality, has that, like, direct,
oh my God,
that, like, direct on video style, because it's so, like, those budgets are usually micro, like, they do it for, like, you know, $10,000 or something. Yeah. So, like, to me, the Toxic Avenger is really, like, the high budget kind of thing for trauma. But yeah, I feel like if you're not on trauma's level, there's people, that love it or just, like, also really don't vibe with that.
Yeah, that makes sense. But, you know, I thought it had a lot to say. I thought it was really smart, especially with, like, the beats of having something really horrific and then having very, I don't know, well-paced humor.
He's stressing me, Julie. He's stressing me.
Exactly. And I like the effects. I don't know. It was great. And I also recorded an episode of Straight Jacket Talk on the Toxic Avengers. So if you want to hear more of my thoughts on that, should be out soon. Another thing we recorded, me and Colton, is Together, which we went and saw in theaters. So there's a Now Slaying episode on that. Go check it out. I guess the last thing I'll say is I've been playing a game called Phasmophobia.
Oh,
do you guys know about it?
Yeah, I have it.
I have no idea.
Do you play it?
I love drinking and then playing it with like 4 other people and like... or wait, how many is it? With 4? Oh, yeah. I always die first because I'm an absolute idiot.
Same. So yeah, if you don't know, Phasmophobia is a ghost hunting game where you get assigned to go to a house and you pick out your equipment to go in and try to figure out what type of ghost it is. So certain evidence you might pick up through, I don't know, like your thermometer or your EMF or, I don't know, ghost orbs, things like that. You can pinpoint which spirit it is. And if you do, you get money and then you can like improve your equipment and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the kind of thing is you have to get this before the ghost like comes to hunt you, which is fucking terrifying. Yeah. So that's kind of the struggle.
Or you have to just watch everybody else keep on doing it. And you're just like a ghost, and it's like, God damn, and they can't hear you, and
you lose all your gear. You have to start over. It's pretty brutal. And I'm also like really scared of stuff like that, and I'm afraid of the dark, so I play it at night, and then I just like turn off the light downstairs. I scurry upstairs and jump into bed and close my eyes and pull my covers up and try to forget about it.
Yeah, you really like psych yourself out with it.
For real. It is really fun though. But yeah, that's everything I've been up to.
Well, with that, I think it's time to get into the film for this evening. So, Mike, it was your pick. Why don't you introduce it and let people know why you chose it?
Okay. So obviously, if you clicked on it, you know that we are doing from 1988 by Daddy David Cronenberg, Dead Ringers. Woo! Yay! We love Cronenberg. So yeah, I picked this. I just sort of have this like, you know, revolving like carousel in my head of like titles that I want to do, and you know, like some I'm like, oh, we can do that at some point in the near future, and there's some that like I really want to do. And I was obviously not going to be on the last episode because it was the same night that I had a festival. So of course you had to message me the night before and asked me. I was actually almost asleep, and you said, I need your pick. So I was like lying in bed half asleep, and I'm like, shit, fuck, I need to pick something out. And I just randomly thought like, oh my god, Dead Ringers, let's do it. Like it just bubbled to the surface of my like mind's ocean, and I grabbed onto it, and that was it. I was like, come on, it's Cronenberg, it's Dead Ringers, like What's not to love? Let's go. So that's why I chose it.
Well, with that, let's get into the trailer, and then we'll be back with the synopsis and first experiences.
By every scientific measure, they are absolutely the same.
You haven't had any experience until I've had it too.
They share everything.
You mean to say there's two of them? They're twins, dear.
I think we should drop her there.
You drop her. A new thriller from the director of The Fly, David Cronenberg's Dead Ringers. Rated R.
Starts Friday at theaters everywhere.
1988's Dead Ringers is directed by David Cronenberg and written by David Cronenberg and Norman Snyder, and the synopsis is as follows. Elliot, a successful gynecologist, works at the same practice as his identical twin Beverly. Elliot is attracted to many of his patients and has affairs with them. When he inevitably loses interest, he will give the women over to Beverly, the meeker of the two, without the women knowing the difference. Beverly falls hard for one of the patients, Claire, but when she inadvertently deceives him, he slips into a state of madness. So, our first experiences. Is this our first time seeing Dead Ringers? Or are we just a fan of, twin brothers with homoerotic subtexts? Mike, this was your pick. Why don't you let us know? Have you seen this before?
Well, actually, since you mentioned it, no. Yes, of course. I've seen this numerous times over the years. It was one of my first Cronenberg movies. I feel like the first might have actually been Crash, which when we were kids, we made my friends' parents rent for us when we were over there having pizza and watching a movie, and they thought we were getting some family movie or maybe like an action movie, and it was not. And then
there
I
was
saw
action
this.
in it. It was just,
there was action. It was not the type of action that they were hoping for. Let me tell you that. But I remember then maybe like a year or two later seeing Dead Ringers on TV, and I was like, oh my God, that's David Cronenberg. And I watched it and I enjoyed it. And then a few years later, I got into the Criterion collection, and that was one of the first movies they put out. It was like number 10 or something, or maybe 20, but Nice. It was like literally in the first probably year or two Criterion collection existed. It was one of their releases, and I used to like go on eBay constantly because it was already out of print at that point, and I'd just be like a teenager on eBay, like just looking for fucking Criterion DVDs that were under $70. And let me tell you, I never found one. But I did have a disc image that I found somewhere on a pirate site of the Criterion thing. So it had all the menus, and like you could burn it onto like a DVD.
Oh, nice.
And put it in your DVD player, and it was essentially the same thing.
Those were the days.
Yeah, those were the days. I always think of Dead Ringers fondly and think of that disc image. So yeah, that was I haven't seen it actually in years. For whatever reason, I've been rewatching a lot of Cronenberg the last 2 or 3 years, and this is always like on my radar. But I wanted to buy like a disc of it, and just kept putting it off because that's what you do. And so I said, "Fuck it, let's do it." Jill, what about you? Have you seen it before?
No, actually, I didn't even really know about this movie. I guess maybe because it's not like full on horror, kind of like other Cronenberg movies are. But yeah, I was excited to watch it because I've liked everything I've seen from him. So yeah. What about you, Rowan?
Yeah, so this is my first time. I mean, I've been like hyper aware of this. I like that we always do like Cronenberg stuff, like when we did Extends and stuff. I'm like, oh, I'm such a Cronenberg head, and then I've never seen any Cronenberg movie of all, ever. But yeah, no, this is obviously like the iconic, like red outfits, that image I've just seen before. I wasn't even aware of the Criterion release of this. I was aware of it because Scream Factory also put it out on Blu-ray, which I thought I owned, and apparently I didn't. So, I've never seen it. I know it's very like highly regarded. I didn't know anything about it really. So I was, like Jill said, it's Cronenberg. My theory is even, the worst Cronenberg's usually better than most people's best. Yeah. So I was excited to dig into it. So with that, I think it's time we just get our gynecological instruments for mutant women out and just spread this topic open for the film.
You're sick.
Sick man.
Goodbye. I quit. That was it.
My first note, I just wanted to say was, I thought, how Canadian of Mike to pick this. We get the kind of the intro text. We're in Toronto. Obviously, Cronenberg, a lot of stuff set in Toronto, but I was, I'm always kind of pleasantly happy because I talk about all the time, behind the scenes. I'm usually like talking to Colton or one of you guys or something, and I'm always like, man, I feel like, we never really do a lot of Canadian stuff, or like, there's not a lot of horror set in Canada. So I was just like, how patriotic of Mike just to...
I'm doing my duty.
Yeah. You're watching Dead Rainers. Next, you're going to buy like one of those, like in America, the people that have like the 50-foot flags, but you'll get like one of the Canadian ones. Just put on a pole in your yard.
But it's one of those ones where instead of a maple leaf, they turned it into a weed leaf. Just to be blasphemous. I'm not that,
We're not nationalistic.
No, I truly do not care. I feel it's so silly. But it is nice to do, like, it legitimately is good, I think, to do Canadian content when we can. It's fine. Like... And Cronenberg's one of those interesting people because he is Canadian, but I feel like not like massively so in his work. Like he doesn't have that essence of like being Canadian, you know what I mean? And like I feel like a lot of people forget that he is, because he has that like vibe of like an American or even like someone who's European, right? And then you're like, oh yeah, this is in Toronto. This is there's the flag. There's whatever Bay Street, or there's Montreal, or
yeah. I think it's kind of interesting because I agree with that. Like I feel like maybe like an American audience or something, like most people don't associate him as like this Canadian director, but then when you look at a lot of the early work stuff, like, because he was shooting it in Toronto, like, it's set in Canada, like, it's one of those things that's, like, not even his fault, I feel. Because I feel like anytime I see him talk, like, he's very, like, proud, and he's very all about promoting, like, the Canadian film industry and stuff like this. It's just, I think just where some of his stuff kind of crossed over into a bigger audience that...
Yeah, for sure.
Those Americans just trying to claim him for their own.
Back off. He's
they just
ours.
Assume everyone is American. I think that's the thing. Like they don't realize what's Canadian. Because whenever I like bring up, oh, this person is Canadian to like any of the Americans around me, they're always like, how do you know that? Or they're like, I didn't know they were Canadian. So yeah, they just kind of assume everyone is American, I think.
We do exist.
Yep.
Like maybe unfortunately we are in existence.
Nihilistic.
Now, I thought I was gonna say to get it out of the way, but not to get it out of the way. I just think it was an interesting talking point. So I didn't bring it up, when I was doing the synopsis or anything, but like, so this is based off a book, and I feel like, it'd probably be good. Jack Geesland and Barry Wood are the like writers of the book called Twins. So if you didn't know, like, Dead Rainers is actually it's a companion piece to Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger's Twins, based off that. No, I'm just kidding. It's not really.
Stop it. I believed it for a second.
We should have just went with it, Mike. We should have just went with it.
Bro just said it with such confidence that it's like
you gotta
hook,
believe
line,
him.
and sinker, man.
But I thought like that's, it's like I said, I've been very hyper aware of Dead Rainers and like stuff, but like this actually threw an interesting kind of thing into it for me. It was like, I was like, oh, wait a second. This is based off like a nonfiction book. And the book's called Twins, and there's not a lot. Like I looked up the people. Stuart and Cyril Marcus are the actual twins. I just thought it'd be an interesting fact for listeners that I basically looked it up. They were twin gynecologists. Basically, they went to university together. The university made them go to separate universities because they said it wasn't proper for twins to both be working together or going to school. They ended up finding somewhere that let them work together, and they were both found dead in their apartment at 45. And from what I dug up, basically what happened is the time of death for one of them was like there was, they said like these 3 days this one died, and the other one actually just they lived together and lived with the dead body for a couple days, and then that one died. One died of a drug overdose. The other one, they said, died of, like, they're not sure what. It seems like kind of a mystery. I've never read the book, but yeah, if you're interested, Twin is the book. Kind of cool.
I actually think that I had it when I was a kid, and I just never read it. I think I picked it up, like, in the, 25-cent bin at my local used bookshop.
Oh, really?
And I can't tell if I saw it there a lot or if I actually bought it and didn't read it, but I know that I didn't read it and I wanted to. I'm curious, though. But also, I'm just like, it doesn't have the stamp of Cronenberg, so I'm just wondering.
Well,
like,
yeah, I feel like
you know what I mean?
I mean, obviously, I say that for people if they're interested in looking, but like when I read, people are like, they're basically, he just took twin gynecologists that died in the same apartment, and that's like all that is similar to the book. Like, I don't think they lived this crazy life that they, that this movie was portraying. Yeah, so Colton's not on the episode. I'm going to channel my Colton because I did think this by the time this was done. So do we feel like there's probably an argument here that this is like, I was like, this might be the least horror movie I've seen from Cronenberg. Like, the body horror is pretty sparse in this film. Really, when I think about it, there's only like 2 kind of body horror-ish scenes, him having the dream or whatever, and then kind of the end.
I wouldn't say it's the least, because think about History of Violence
and
Eastern
I
Promises,
count,
right?
I meant out of the horror movies.
Okay, out of the horror movies. Oh, gotcha.
And I think that kind of like threw me off a little bit, which is interesting because you'll see in my rating, like it threw me off because I was like, I did like visually and the acting. Like, I liked everything I saw, but it threw me off at the end where I'm like, wait, is this even a horror movie that I just watched? And I'm like trying to evaluate it in those terms. And especially when like this is made like sight and sound lists, like this is literally in so many 100 best horror lists. This is considered like a godfather of like psychological horror, psychological thrillers. And I mean, of course, I think like there's going to be that kind of argument of, where the horror community has like claimed Silence of the Lambs our own. Like, to me, I was like, I could see where people might be like, oh, that psychological thriller. Is it really horror or not? Like, did you guys have any, or were you guys just like, yeah, this is 100% a horror movie?
I think that it's just restrained by Cronenberg standards, and that the horror is reading between the lines of what may have been done before, what atrocities may have been committed, could have been committed had they not died. I just feel like there's a lot that's like unspoken in it, and also, I think that medical shit is very horrific, so my first note was about being in stirrups is so horrific. Like,
yeah, it is.
To me, that's a horror scene, like, right off the bat.
Yeah, to me, it gives psychological horror. So yeah, I still very much consider it horror. And all the surgical stuff kind of reminded me of American Mary with Catherine Isabel. And yeah, they're like 2 weirdos, and it's not going to end well for them with all of the kind of red flags that are thrown up about them when they're growing up and even when they're studying to be gynecologists.
Yeah, right. Like, I feel like there's lots of stuff from like when they're kids that you sort of read between the lines of like how they got to be prodigies at such a young age, because that there was some fucking scandalous shit going on that we are not privy to.
Yeah, and they're just like super weird. Like, they're not normal, and the things that they're into at such a young age, like dissecting bodies, is not normal. Like, that interest. And then also just kind of like, to me, having a male gynecologist is horrific. Like, that's my last resort. So it's already uncomfortable, and then you see this sort of narrative playing out where they are like taking advantage of their authority and their power.
Yeah.
And just kind of like the shifting narrative about women as well. Like, at first it's all about, okay, we're here to help them with fertility and everything, and it's all nice, and then it turns into, okay, their bodies aren't right, only we know
you're a
how
mutant.
their bodies, mutant women. I think mostly it's because we're so used to seeing such like obvious blatant body horror from Cronenberg that when you see this, it's like you're expecting it to come. And I think you get a fair bit of it at the very end. But yeah, it is a bit different than the other stuff, the other horror movies that he's made.
And, maybe it also shows some of the limitations of the categories and how we think about them and divide them up.
Yeah. I mean, what constitutes horror? Like, is it jump scares? Is it, a lot of gore, kills, all of that? But yeah, this definitely gives an uneasy feeling. You do have deaths, you do have gore, and you have a lot of uncomfortable things happening.
Yeah. Well, I thought after, like I said, I mean, I was mostly posing that question just as a discussion point.
Rhetorically.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I thought it was interesting because to me, I thought it was very interesting to see Cronenberg this restrained, because Cronenberg, obviously, I'm thinking even stuff like Extends, which to me, in kind of, let's say that like 2000s and back, Cronenberg is like pretty sci-fi, like almost sci-fi, not necessarily. It is a lot of body horror, but like just to me, out of everything, like Naked Lunch, things like this, Videodrome, I was like the restraint of choosing to be very particular and limited with where he was going to put body horror in this film. And kind of, to me, making that horror internal, because, I mean, even though we're not necessarily seeing it, we're, like, seeing this decay of the psychological state of both of them, really, but, like, Beverly, obviously, for the most part.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I shouldn't even say, like, not just Beverly, but I think we also see Claire, like, also psychologically decaying, being in this harmful relationship. Really, she's in this relationship with what becomes an addict. Not that she's obviously also an addict. She introduces it to him, but she's a functioning addict, essentially.
They like feed off of each other almost, and it becomes like a codependent sort of like two people bringing out the worst elements of each other.
Like I said, I thought that was like so interesting for a Cronenberg film. Like, just because you're so used to, it's like I said, like Videodrome, Existence. Like there's like so much body horror stuff, like kind of every 15 minutes you're getting like this body horror thing, where I think the build up and it does pay off kind of at the end. I really do like that dream sequence of him like biting. I mean, I know what he wants it to be, but it doesn't even look like the it's his own version of, what do you call it? The tube or whatever connecting them that would connect to a mother. Umbilical cord.
Umbilical cord.
But
okay,
it's like a sack connecting them or whatever.
Yeah.
But I did like that restraint of like kind of making us wait. And I thought it was interesting because it would have been very easy for him to be like, hey, I want to put the gore up a bit, especially when we're in scenes with women in the stirrups.
Yeah.
Like, because to me, I was like, okay, eventually we're going to get some crazy shit with these instruments and they're going to do all this bad shit to women or something.
Yeah.
So I almost kind of liked it as this, like, psych out. Like,
yeah, it was like a tease.
Yeah, like you're thinking this is what's going to happen. Like, you're going to have to see women have these crazy things happen to them. And then I feel like that kind of builds that dread, right? You're like, oh shit, that's going to come at some point. And then there's never overly that release valve. I mean, you kind of get it when he like pierces something and the woman's bleeding. He's like trying to get to the gas mask or whatever. But I just really liked that restraint. I thought it was classy move, Cronenberg. Very classy.
Yeah, it is classy and it's classic. It's kind of like Hitchcockian suspense, right?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that a lot of Cronenberg movies are planted in like fantasy sort of things that wouldn't necessarily happen in everyday life, but this is something that could happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, because it is sort of, vaguely, quote unquote, based on a true story. Inspired by, anyway.
I feel like Cronenberg doesn't kind of get the credit for kind of like the surreal artist he is. Like, as we think of like a David Lynch or like something like that. Because, almost all of his movies have like such a surreal aspect eventually to them, which he does in this. Like, as Beverly and Elliot are like decaying and going into madness and stuff, like this movie gets more and more kind of surreal and, what's real, what's not.
Yeah, and they're constantly, drugging themselves and each other.
100%. And yeah, I just, I felt like Jill watching this. I was just thinking of themes like crazy. But I thought like to me, I was thinking what a good pick for right now, or even the last 5 years. Jesus, I feel like we can never have an episode where we're not talking about like COVID or something. But, I was thinking about there's really this conversation in this about the like fears of like medicine and science, like overstepping like human boundaries and bounds, and what you're kind of allowing doctors to do. And that makes me sound like I'm a crazy guy, but you know what I mean? Like it was a little more, I think, innocent back then than it is now, where people are like, don't trust science, where this is just saying like, what if science steps too far, and we're just giving free rein to these male gynecologists, which Jill does not like.
I mean, I guess that was a safer time to explore those questions because it wasn't, going to be seen as like propaganda because it wasn't realistic. Except now, if you were to make a film, I feel like doing the same questioning of like, medical science or the practice of surgery and doctors, that you're living in a time when people do not trust them and the powers that be are gutting them. So it's like, to me, it wouldn't be safe to make a movie like that because you'd run the risk of seeming like you were co-signing kind of like radical right-wing politics, I guess. Whereas clearly Cronenberg is not doing that in this movie. So I think Roe is, right in kind of pointing that out.
So, I mean, I feel like the main thing to talk about Dead Ringers, like let's just, jump into it and talk about Jeremy Irons, who dual role.
Incredible.
Yeah, which, we got an incredible dual role, Michael B. Jordan in Sinners this year. So, I was thinking back to that, like thinking about, playing twins, how you do this. And, I remember when we reviewed Sinners for Now Science, I was like, this is incredible. Like how he makes these two distinct things. And like, David Cronenberg was like, come back to the past with me and hold my beer for a second. I couldn't believe how good Jeremy Irons was in this. And not only that, but it wasn't making them so different that it's like, oh yeah, it's like this guy's yelling and this guy's, because they seem like twins. Like they had so many different mannerisms, but also mannerisms that were the same, that I can only imagine would be incredibly difficult to, as you're doing these scenes, going back and forth, being like, how do I make sure these guys are like this tightly, almost like, telekinetic, like they're like connected, like telepathy or something. But also, just have that little dash of difference in them.
Yeah, I really like that line they towed with that, because at times you could tell which one was which, and other times I was confused, but I think that's part of the fear, like not knowing which is which, and that blends, like the lines blur even more the more it goes on, and with the drugs and the madness, and I really like what they did there.
Yeah, and right out of the gate, they clue you into the fact that they are using being a twin as a tool to deceive people, and that they have been doing it for God knows how long. So you're primed right from the beginning to be questioning, like, okay, but is this the person that I think it is? And I feel like the whole movie you're slightly off kilter because you think you've got it figured out, but like Jill said, like there were times when, I was rewatching it and I was like, wait, is this him? And then I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll never know. Maybe I'll never know which one of them it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah, and especially where they kind of like make it known that it's not just preying on women, like they also do it for like kind of mundane work things, like, oh, I'm sick, I don't want to go in today, so like, oh, okay, I'll go in, or I'll go to this presentation and pretend to be you. So I feel like it was such good placement of that kind of like mania for the viewer, especially towards that ending, right? When they're both like in this like depth of addiction and pill popping, where they both look like scraggly as fuck and just rough,
walking around in their like jacket and underwear.
Yeah, and I'm like, I don't know who's who really. And then like Mike said, then I'm questioning like, well, okay, I know this is Beverly because he's been over at her place the entire time, but then I'm like, what if it isn't? What if
same?
Yeah, what if this guy in the shower is actually Beverly? And especially because Elliot, they kind of give Elliot kind of has, this like fox personality, right? Like what people associate with a fox. Like he's kind of sly, he's kind of slick, and you can tell he's kind of, to me, he's not the meek one. So he's like kind of got this like predator aspect to him. So yeah, like I'm questioning at the end. I'm like, oh shit, what if like I thought this entire movie I'm watching Beverly, but really he's like, it's just Elliot fucking with everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And that feeds into one of my favorite tropes in any movie, horror or otherwise. And it's like, I love a good like personality swap. Or when they like start mirroring each other.
Friday,
oh my God,
over there.
Freaky Friday. I need to go see the new one. Same. I mean, I just recently, as I told you, a few weeks ago, or maybe what got cut. I don't remember if that was the episode or not, but when I watched Three Women with Shelley Duvall and Sissy Spacek, and it's like, it has that same kind of like psychological breakdown, as the movie draws to the end. And I love that trope so much, and they just do it so well in this movie. Like Cronenberg, Daddy David, he knows his shit, man. He did that.
And on that note too, about the performance, like I had a note that was like, because I really didn't know what to expect. I'm thinking 1988. I was like, so there's going to be a lot of like, oh, this is the back of Elliot's head, and then, which they do. Yeah. But then I really wasn't prepared. I was like, oh no, like Cronenberg went for it with like the split screen performance. I looked it up. Apparently they did a thing. This is where, I kind of wish Colton was here because I'm sure he could explain what all these technical things are. But I saw it was something called motion control camera work. But apparently that and the split screens what they used. But I was very surprised at how good this looked.
Yeah.
Just because
it didn't look like cheap effects at all.
Yeah. And I just didn't know how well in the 80s they'd pull off that like split. I was like, oh, you're going to be able to tell like something in the room is off or like something like that. And even I found I was very hyper aware of looking where Jeremy Irons was looking when he was talking to the other, like someone else. Because I'm like, oh, is he looking in the wrong direction? Am I going to see a screw? But like zero screws. I did not find a single scene where he looked in the wrong place or anything. And it's just like, yeah, I could only imagine the precision work. So yeah. That just awesome.
The original Criterion DVD had a couple of extras on how they did the twin effects, and they're actually on the Criterion channel now, which is funny because I was thinking the other day, I was like, oh man, I gotta find my disc image and like just watch the old DVD of it, because it has all the extras. And then I went on the Criterion channel and was like, oh, they actually have all the extras on the channel with the movie. So you could like watch the commentaries and you could watch. I didn't have time to rewatch all that, but I'm definitely going to, because like you said, it is like shockingly seamless and it's really immersive because you do not get pulled out at all. It's not like, you know, when you're watching an older movie and like there's just one awful effect or whatever, something that's really obviously, you know, fake and sort of like put on.
Yeah.
And it just takes you out of it. But like, I just think he does such an insane job that it really, like, you believe it. I kept having to remind myself that this was not actually two people. Every time I watch it, I feel like I get sucked into it and go, oh yeah, wait, this is one actor.
You got a little excited there. You're like, is there two Jeremy Irons that I can
Two
sleep
young
with?
Jeremy Irons, yeah. Like, can you imagine?
I think it also, and this is just Cronenberg's style, is deceptively modern. With his stylistic choices, and just like, I really like the intro, by the way, like the animated red with the instruments, and I thought the instruments looked really cool. I loved all the work they did with those, and also just the red, like the red surgical scrubs. The intro is red and all the blood. I thought that looked really good as well.
Yeah, it was giving like Handmaid's Tale too.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
The robes.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's funny because I also, like, a lot of my notes were about like color schemes and just kind of the palette of this movie. Like, you know, I was saying I really noticed, like, in terms of cinematography and stuff, everything, like the use of symmetry in it, and you know, like this kind of like cold, hard color palette, like very muted,
sterile.
Yeah. Very, very sterile, very medical, which is like cannot be pulled off all the time, but it's like, yeah, very like Cronenberg just really has that down. And I thought it was interesting. I watched a conversation with him where he was actually like talking about how he predominantly wanted to use reds and blues because he thought that they kind of symbolized blood and sterility and passion and decay. So he was like, he really wanted to play with that kind of color grading of red to blue. And I mean, yeah, it looks so good.
Yeah.
Think about their apartment, right? Like,
yeah, I think it's interesting you said sterility, like not only like medically, but also all the women are sterile. They come in for their fertility issues. And that was like one of the motifs that I really liked about the movie as well, is the emphasis on like infertility. And I really liked, we didn't talk about Claire. I loved her character. Would bring her up, so. She says one thing that I wrote down because I really liked it. It's when she's talking about how she'll never be able to be pregnant. Just like the desperation, I don't know, it is very tangible. But she says, I'll just be damned. I will have never been a woman at all, just a girl. And I thought that was very powerful.
Yeah, it's like such a critique of like the way that they've internalized these like definitions of like
you're not a real woman.
Like you're defined by your body.
Yeah.
Right, which is so Cronenbergian because people are like changing their bodies and transforming and entering and exiting things into their bodies. And, yeah.
And they're going to these men who are ultimately in control, and then also use that control for nefarious purposes.
Yeah, and we do need to just quickly throw out, because Ro was waiting for me. You know, we obviously said Jeremy Irons' performance is like phenomenal. It's incredible, but Geneviève Bujold also carries this movie. She is a queen and an icon, and we just need to throw that out there now.
Yeah. She's just as much the focus to me as both of Bev and Ellie's characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of. I was kind of like yelling at her through the screen just because I was like, oh, don't take him back. Don't take Beverly back. Like, what are you doing? But then I'm just kind of like, I don't know, like... I think she's trying to get some of that Brother Eiffel Tower action going on.
There was a little bit of that going on in that scene.
Yeah, well, especially with the scene with... Well, who was it? Who was the... Carrie, I think, was the...
Oh, yeah.
Other woman, yeah.
It was kind of like Elliot's scene partner later on. Elliot was
his fuck buddy.
A little incestuous.
I mean, I figured that was going to be the real big conversation about this movie, right? Is that there's definitely, what would you say, Mike? Definitely some homoeroticy going on here.
Homoeroticy, yes, is famously. And this is not even incestuous; it's twincestuous.
Twincestuous.
Ooh, I like that.
But yeah, that scene where especially when they're hugging and all three of them are hugging, and then it's like Elliot moving Carrie's hand like on him so that he's not doing it, but he is doing it. He's basically like guiding her. And so I was gonna say, it's not really subtext, is it? Like everyone knows these guys want to bang each other at the end of the day.
Sharing women, so I don't know. Yeah, it's there.
Yeah, you kind of can't really ignore that because, that's part of it. That's a deep... And they live together too, right? So
they're so dependent.
Not that means anything in and of itself, but I'm just saying there's a soup being cooked.
Yes.
And that is one of the ingredients.
Many ingredients in this homoerotic soup.
Oh my god.
Now, I mean, like we said, this still has some body horror. It still has some horror stuff. I thought all of that looked great. I mean, it's Cronenberg. Practical effects. Looks fantastic. Very in line, I think, with anything you would see from him. Even those amazing gynecological instruments for mutant women. I always love how things, even though I don't know if he means to do it on purpose, but like his instruments, his technology always looks very similar in his movies. Like I was thinking, man, this looks like a lot of stuff from like Crimes of the Future that, you know, like I've seen stuff like this in Videodrome, like he kind of, or Existenz, like he makes them look very similar, where I feel like you almost, have this like MCU shared universe where I'm like, oh, these tools very well could be in the future in Crimes of the Future.
Yeah, it's like his biomechanical aesthetic.
Yeah, and it's just, it's so good. I feel like that phrase of, I'll just never forget the instruments for mutant women. I'm like, that's just like so iconic. Funny.
I love that they look like weapons too. Like they're made to hurt, and I feel like a lot of women can relate to that going to the gynecologist. Like it hurts. And they don't care. Yeah,
even the not horrific one that they invent in the opening scenes,
the like spreader or whatever.
That like literally, I'll never forget the first time I saw that, and like I actually cringed. Like I felt my skin crawl and was like, I cannot imagine being a woman and seeing that. And that's the least.
Well, I was gonna say that's like
the tools.
That's like an actual thing, isn't it? Or at least it's like the design's based off.
Yeah, I frequently, when I see legitimate tools for medicine, like it just makes my skin crawl. So yeah, by the time you get to I think of them as like the torture tools. Because it does look like they're laid out and it looks like Hostel or something. At least like Hostel, but designed by aliens.
Yes.
Did you guys feel at all like you could have used like more body horror stuff or more, like violence or like anything like that? Like we said, there's only really like kind of two horrific body things. A lot of the horror in this is internal and just kind of like bubbling there. But like, did you feel it all, or were you like, no, this is like kind of appropriate for this?
I mean, I feel like personally, I will never say no to more of that, especially from this man. But like the choices that he made, I think were very spot on and served the like story and the themes and the characters. And like if there was a cut where they're like, oh, there's like 10 extra minutes of horrific gross shit, I'd instantly buy it, of course. But I'm not mad that it's not there, I guess.
Yeah, it's appropriate for the movie that it is. I think it's a bit of a detriment knowing that this is a Cronenberg movie, and then if you're used to that and you expect that level of body horror and you go in and that's what you want, you're not going to exactly get it. But if you accept the movie for what it is, more so like this psychological thriller drama going on, then I think it's perfectly appropriate and fine.
Yeah, I was going to say, and I feel like this doesn't kind of reach the heights that it has, because I mean, you know, when I'm looking stuff up about this is kind of like considered his masterpiece. Like, I feel like this is probably his highest regarded film that he's ever done. And like, you know, this is very, and a lot of those, maybe like, you know, artsy fartsy corners that I kind of veer away from. Like, this is, people like this. It's got a little pretension stink on it.
Well, it's a character study, yeah.
Yeah. And I just feel like, yeah, without it being a little restrained and maybe a little more Cronenberg body horror, it doesn't reach those kind of heights. And to me, as a Cronenberg guy, I'm like, that's fantastic, because I want people that wouldn't normally watch Cronenberg to watch this and then say, you know, please give me Videodrome. Like, let me check out Videodrome. Yeah, I mean, I definitely I agree with all that. I thought it was kind of funny in my research. I found out that in university for psychoanalysis, there's universities that use this film as a study when they're studying psychoanalysis. So, Cronenberg. Daddy Cronenberg.
Daddy Cronenberg strikes again. He's on the syllabus. He is the syllabus.
I did notice Howard Shore on the score. I thought the score was fantastic.
Excellent,
in this.
yeah.
The music just really good for the kind of film it was. I didn't think it was like overstated. And it definitely wasn't understated. I just thought it was like a perfect score for the kind of film this was.
Yeah, it wasn't like overwhelming.
Yeah, no, not at all.
And I feel like there was only like one popular song maybe in the whole thing, and that was when they were dancing in the apartment while Beverly was first spinning out. And I thought that, like, if you're gonna have one song that's like, you know, kind of like pop music or rock music or whatever, you know, he just used it so well. It really just jumps out, and I appreciated it. I thought it was a banger, bro.
Yeah, I thought it was, I can't even think what it is. And it's like, it's not an obscure song. It's like a pretty...
No, it's an old, oh my God. I know, I was like literally singing it this afternoon. Now it's gone out of my head. I gotta look it up. Hang on. Because I feel like an idiot. It's like a 50s, like...
Yeah.
Rock song. In the Still of the Night.
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Which is funny because I watched Still of the Night a few weeks ago, so I should have remembered it, but I didn't. Yeah, In the Still of the Night. It's so good.
Yeah, so, you know, I brought up to these guys before we recorded, but, you know, I did check out an episode, obviously, 2023. You know, this got Amazon greenlit a miniseries starring Rachel Weisz. That's like very, very well regarded. It's got like 87 or 90%, like still after 2023. It hasn't really dropped. You know, if you have a chance, check it out. I thought it was interesting. Obviously, it's like gendered swap. So Rachel Weisz plays the twins. You know, obviously technology's a little different. So it's probably, you know, it looks even better with them in the same scene. I'll probably watch all of it just to see what it's about. I like the points are a little different in it. I read like this is about them trying to open a fertility clinic or something to help other women get pregnant. But it kind of the same things where, you know, they slide in and out as each other, and they fall in love with an actress and all that kind of stuff. So they do keep it the same from what I heard, but, you know, it's got like some EDM music in it. It's a little, it's British, I believe, the entire production. So it's got kind of like a modern British take, and it's colorful. It's not, I think that's what kind of threw me off, because I didn't know if I liked it or not. Like, it's very colorful. There's not really like reds. Like, it seems like it's a lot of just like looks normal hospital look so far. I'm sure they do end up in red at some point, but yeah, just updated.
I feel like the artwork definitely showed them wearing that at some point.
Yeah. So do you guys have any other notes about Dead Ringers, or are we comfortable to go into rating it, or... Mike has a questionable phase, so...
I'm just going to say one thing before I'm ready to move on, and that is their fucking sweater game. I literally was like open up a shop on Scream Factory website and sell those fucking sweaters. I'd buy every single one of them.
They
There's
were
one point when he's wearing
good.
2 sweaters. Yeah, it was the costumes are like everything. The sweaters, like Claire's clothes, those beautiful robes, like the fucking wardrobe department in this was on one.
Yeah, I can't get over how much I like the red robes. And what I thought was kind of interesting about the choice with the red is that not only is it like kind of this cool, you know, almost futuristic medical thing, but it's also makes it almost feel very religious and has like this touch of, you know, like science is these guys' religion and how serious they take it and, you know, are willing.
Absolutely.
What
it's
they're
their
willing
life.
to do.
Yeah. Their devotion. Yeah.
Yeah. And their devotion is to science, like more so than it is to these women.
Yeah, exactly. They don't give a fuck. It's just...
They're just vessels.
Just vessels.
To a higher power, yeah.
Well, yeah, if that's everything, why don't we land the plane and get into rating this? If you're new to our podcast, our rating system is nay, okay, yay, or slay. Mike, this was your pick, so why don't you kick us off?
Okay, I'll kick it. I think Dead Ringers is a slay. I think it is, for all of its deviation away from a lot of, especially at the time, what you would expect from Cronenberg, because it is so restrained and it's more of a character study than like commentary on the body. I think that it also like crystallizes a lot of his concerns perfectly. You know, he does have concerns about like the body and science, and as always, the interaction between, you know, technology or tools or things that are mechanical and flesh. It's almost like a little bit more explicit because it is gynecological, and that is the most invasive, like, you know, form of medicine, essentially. You know, it's not an external medicine as such. And I don't know, I just think that that was like a brilliant use of, I'm going to be restrained and do this character study, but I'm still going to make it uncomfortable and gross and use this to like kind of pick away at all of my usual concerns. And I just think like it's perfectly Cronenbergian. The performances are like phenomenal. They're world class. Like, I think obviously Jeremy Irons, Genevieve are, you know, I think these are like career best performances, and that's saying something. Like, she's a legend, he's a legend. She was a legend when you know, she made this. He is a legend now. The costumes, beautiful. The music, beautiful. The sets, beautiful. The lighting, the colors, everything. I can't wait for a 4K of this. So yeah, I'm going to give it a slay. What about you, Jill?
Yeah, I'm going to give Dead Ringers a yay. I don't really have like much. I don't have any negative things to say about it at all. I think just for me, going into a Cronenberg movie, I was expecting more horror, and I'm not going to use that as a point to take away from the movie, but one thing I would have liked to see was like when they're doing surgery on that woman or whatever. I would have liked to see more graphic details of like things they were doing to other people. And maybe some more like on screen of the brothers at the end and the gore and all that.
You want to see more of the instruments.
Yeah, more of the instruments, more blood. You know, I liked what I got though. But yeah, it's a yay for me. It was a good
more
time.
brother on brother. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, there was plenty of brother.
That's what she's always
brother.
saying.
I was fine with that. What about you, Ron?
Yeah, so I feel like I'm kind of coming in the same as Jill. I'm going to give it a yay. I really like this. I'll be honest, I wasn't sure at first. I was like, okay, let's see. It always scares me, like I said, when I know it's in those artsy corners, that people love it. I'm like, oh, geez, let's see how this goes. But why am I doubting Cronenberg? I like, Daddy Cronenberg. I love him. Yeah, I could have used a little more gore. Who couldn't use a little more gore? But I thought the amount was appropriate for the story being told. And like you said, Mike, like it's really this character study. So I didn't mind that much. The only reason I give it a yay and like not a slay is because like for me that's like Videodrome and like Naked Lunch, like like I have my like top tier Cronenbergs, and then this is like under like I don't
A tier for you, not S tier, right?
Yeah, exactly.
If you're making your like tier list,
exactly. But yeah, like I said, like I love the color palette, I love the cinematography, I love the score, I love the performances. I thought this was kind of a banger all around. So, 2 yays and a slay for Dead Ringers. So we asked...
respectable.
Very respectable. So we told you what we thought about the film, and we asked you what you thought, and I can't believe it. Mike picking one that people wrote in for.
Who'd have thought? I have good taste.
That people weren't like, what is this movie? What obscure website do I have to buy this Blu-ray from to even see it? So we'll start with friend of the podcast, frequent guest Willow, wrote in and just said, it fucks, period. Hard,
yep.
Period. So Willow, I that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. We also had Ryan on Instagram write in, and Ryan said, this film dares to ask the question, is it gay to do some sensual dancing with your twin? This is one of my top 4 favorite movies, and I'm so glad you guys are finally covering it. Nice. To me, this is the best Cronenberg, but Naked Lunch and Videodrome are close behind. The queer themes, brilliant use of lighting, and an insane acting performances by Jeremy Irons keep bringing me back to this film. It's a slay. Cronenberg needs to get back to making bangers. And then he said, P.S. if Mike doesn't slay this, he will be dealt with.
Ooh.
So
that's my buddy.
Dealt with the way that Claire was dealt with the tubes and the clamps.
Oh my god, I did, and we didn't even talk about that scene, but
I love that scene.
I could write a book on it anyway.
Or dealt with the way they dealt with Carrie with some sensual double team dancing.
I don't know why I was thinking Carrie White and like dump pig's blood on me. I was like, okay, work.
And then on Slasher, we got a couple responses. So Final Girl Friday wrote and said, my absolute favorite performance from Jeremy Irons, no contest. It slays. Yeah, great Jeremy Irons. Has he ever had such a great performance other than Alfred in The Batman?
I fucking hate you.
I Heart Horror wrote in and said, the absolute best Cronenberg. Simple, eloquent. And then Eugene 237 wrote and said they agreed with Final Girl Friday. The performance by Irons is something I still talk about nearly 40 years later. He wasn't just playing 2 characters with all their subtle differences, but then layered extra levels when the brothers pretend to be each other. An absolute masterclass. The source novel Twins by Barry Wood is also amazing. So there you go, a vote for the novel. Maybe I'll have to track it down and read it. I am kind of interested in that. So, yeah, I mean, thanks, people just, like I said, showing out for Dead Rainers. So thanks for all of that. We have a voicemail. Nicholas, I know Nicholas was away, so he did like double duty where he sent in his alligator thoughts and Dead Rainers at the same time. He was like, can I know in advance what's going on here? So we gave him a little sneak peek, and yeah, let's go to the horrific hotline and find out what Nicholas thought.
So David Cronenberg, for me, can't do much wrong. I like to love basically all of his movies. There are some better ones and some that are not quite masterpieces. At least from the ones I've seen, I think I'm missing one or two from his very early time, like even before Rabbit and Shivers. And getting to Dead Ringers, that is one of the several exceptional movies in his filmography, at least for me. I think it is a very interesting idea on body horror, because it's not really the complete mutilation like you can see in his movies like The Fly or Videodrome. It's more this, how can I put it? You don't really see much of the actual body horror. It's more implied with, for example, those very nasty, disgusting instruments that they show in certain parts of the movie. And the overall kind of invasion of the body through different means, and it just works. It gives me shivers every time I see the movie, and that is, I think, also in big part thanks to Jeremy Irons, who does a fantastic job in his double role as the two doctors. Great work there. That I wished he would have worked with David Cronenberg way more often. I think they would have been a great pair. And overall, I'm just here praising the movie, so it is probably obvious that it's gonna be a slay for me. Thank you, Mike, for this pick. I've been waiting for you guys to discuss a Cronenberg movie, and I hope there will be some down the line. Especially The Fly, that is probably my favorite one. And that's basically all. Again, thank you for this particular pick, even though I still can't seem to find the connection to Joggist, but maybe that's just me, and you guys probably have it figured out how this fits the theme.
If you consider a vagina a type of mouth, then maybe the jaws, I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying.
Maybe they could have used one of those instruments to, I don't know, do something to the jaws.
I don't know.
Or do something to each other. I don't know. I feel like all those men on a boat, there's some freakiness going on or something. We're pulling at straws. Thank you for calling in, though, Nicholas. I'm glad someone agrees with Mike that it's a sleigh, so he has a companion. And yeah, I mean, I feel like the Fly will happen at some point. Cronenberg's always in our mind, so I doubt this is the last you've heard of Cronenberg. That is until, like, you know, this episode comes out and then we announce we're like, oh, we're just canceling the podcast. That's it. We ended on Dead Rainers. That's all we have to do. And if you want to leave a voicemail like Nicholas, you can do so by emailing us at itslayespodcast@gmail.com or just messaging us on whatever. Just any way you can get a voice message to us. We'll figure out, you know, you getting it to us, and then we will figure out a way to play it. And if you're not doing so already, you can follow us on any social media at Itslaye's Podcast. We're on Facebook, Tumblr, Bluesky, Slasher, Letterboxd, Threads. I mean, I feel like I'm probably forgetting something. There's always so many. But TikTok, we're on TikTok also. So any of those social media, look up Itslaye's Podcast and give us a follow. Say hello. We'll say hello back. And yeah. Jill, why don't you tell these lovely listeners about our Patreon?
If you are interested in joining the ranks of our horror hounds like Holly, Nicholas, Sacrotype, Dan, Brian, Trevor, and James, head on over to Patreon and find us under Itslaye's Podcast and choose the tier that works best for you. Perks include 48 hours early access to episodes like the one you're listening to right now, and episodes of our Patreon exclusive show, Stream Screams, as well as the ability to choose movies for us to review. Now, Rowan, you were talking about the score. Do you have anything from
Oh, yeah, we're going to
Ringers?
figure something out. If it's on Spotify, we're going to get little Dead Rainers on that horrific playlist. So if you got Spotify, go to Spotify. You can search it up at the Itslaye's Podcast horrific playlist. If you have any problems finding it, You can go to any of the social media I mentioned just a moment ago, go in the bio, click the Linktree link, and it'll take you directly there. There's a button you can click, take you to Spotify. Follow it because we update it regularly. We upload licensed music or scores from iconic horror movies we review, or just horror movies we love. So yeah, follow it. Get your spooky music on because it's going to be spooky season very soon. And yeah, just follow it because why the hell not? The last thing I got to do for promo is we do have the announcement for another TerrorVision screening that we're sponsoring. So this is September 10th in Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia at the Cineplex. They are doing a screening of the original Child's Play. So we'll be there with maybe some Child's Play themed giveaways. Doors open at 6:30. The pre-show interview starts at 7:30. They already announced it that they're interviewing Howard Berger, who was part of the special effects team that brought Chucky to life in Child's Play. So that's pretty cool. Get your tickets. I think they're like $18-20. It's totally worth it. Support Josh and TerrorVision. You can also, he usually has posters for the event. So when you go see a movie that you're like, I love this movie, I love a poster for the screening I went, they're like $10. They're gorgeous. I have a poster for every single one that we've sponsored, and they're really amazing. But all that is left is to announce our upcoming episode, and it is a Jill pick. Jill, do you want to let the people know what they should be watching?
Yeah, so I was thinking, I have a list of movies that I want to review on the podcast, and I was going through all of them, and none of them really stuck out to me. So I went on Letterboxd and I looked through my watch list, and a certain movie stuck out to me. I was remembering the time we did Belladonna of Sadness, and I was thinking, it's been a long time since we did an animated movie, and I think that's the only other time we did one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
The next movie is Perfect Blue.
Oh my God, yes.
And Mike will be there.
I just came. Okay, sorry, spoiler alert. I fucking love that movie so much. I'm so excited.
I'm excited too.
So get your eye holes on Perfect Blue, and we will be back in 2 weeks. As always, thank you for all the support. I am your humble host, Rowan.
It's Mike, thanks.
And bye, it's Jill.
See you later.